All right. You're welcome. It is a brand new NBA season just hours away from tip off, and we know the games that are on tonight is, of course, two juggernauts. Of course, we shall see the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry tonight, as you can see right there. Tip off just a few hours away. It's tonight, people. If you want to catch those games, make sure you tune in and then watch. Of course, OKC, the defending champions, will be taking on Rockets, and we know that, of course, the Rockets roster was improved. We know they have KD, one of the Hall of Famers. They will be there, and of course, the main Titan clash will be between the Golden State Warriors taking on the Lakers thereafter. Those are just the two games for day one of the first week of our fantasy. So I am definitely going to take you through this season fantasy, give you tips here and there so that you stay up to date. I'm going to basically, this is just an introduction. So, of course, we know the Lakers, of course, have shredded Luca. Luca is going to be, it's a very highly anticipated season, so it's going to definitely be cool. So, what am I talking about here today? We are mainly fantasy. That will be our league, but of course, we are NBA enthusiasts, so we shall be watching. So, this is the game that we shall be going through. This is week one, and we know our fantasy, of course, is broken down in 2 weeks. It's not like the football fantasy. That's the catch here, but it's going to be really, really interesting. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how to play, so that as you're playing, you enjoy yourself. As you're watching the games, you enjoy while you're playing. So the game is actually broken down in game weeks, and each game week has 5 to 6 days. So this first game week will be game week one, which you'll see right there, and of course day one. The second dot is the day one. So on game week day one, we have two games. Those are four teams that are playing. That is the Lakers taking on Golden State Warriors. Then Thunder, Oklahoma Thunders taking on the Rockets. Of course, switched down here. So these are just the two games. Then of course the following day, which will be a Wednesday, that will be I think most of the teams will be playing. So these are the days I would advise, if you to play any of the chips that are available. You play them on these weeks where you know that most of the teams are actually playing, because that's where you'll be able to field a full lineup. So what am I talking about? So this is basically a week schedule overview that you're able to see here. See all the teams that are playing. So as you're even picking your teams, you make sure you try to have players that have the most games that week. So an example, if you to see, okay, my team, I'm going to take you through my team. Of course, I have Nikola Jokic, whom I believe is the best player in the world at the moment. And Nikola Jokic this week has only two games. He's playing Golden State Warriors in game on game day three, and the Suns on game day five. So he wouldn't be ideal. The only problem is that I have him. He's the core of my team, so I cannot do away with him without him. I can't do without him. So yeah, but the strategy basically is to pick players. You see now, like a player, the Cavaliers, they have 3 games. So getting a Cavaliers player is far much better than getting a Chicago Bulls player in this scenario. Okay, so here we are. So the fantasy salary cap edition is more or less fantasy, but only NBA based, of course. So it has you're able to edit your lineup. This is my roster. This is my lineup as we speak. So you can see the players that I have. Of course, I have Luca. I try to squeeze him in. I'm actually going big. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to play big at the back and thin at the front, but thin with strength. That's why I got Luca at the front. and of course he has a supporting cast that will be helping out. But at the back, I have three main bigs. I wanted to get Wemby. Wemby is actually very good because he's a blocks magnet, and blocks actually I will show you later. They pull a triple multiplier. A triple multiplier meaning that every block he makes, you multiply the number of blocks that he has made with three. So whereas a basket that is made by any of the players is just a single point, a block is also a single point. Then assists, those are 2 points. We shall look at all that. So as speaking, this is AD. I have AD, Porzingis, and Nikola Jokic at the back. Then these are the main ones. Then of course the supporting casts. I had to bring in Kameni Malauchi because he's a Ugandan. Well, Southern Sudan, but I mean he actually grew up in Uganda. He was training with us on court, so this one is an untouchable. But let's see how the season goes. Let's see how the season goes. So it's all systems go. Everything is still on zero. Then if you want to make transfers, it is actually simple. You just come to the transactions tab, and then you tap on the player that you want to remove. Then of course on the right hand side, the players are all displayed based on maximum price. You can actually sort by total points that they scored in the previous season. Of course, you can see why I have Nikola Jokic. He has the most. Giannis Antetokounmpo. You need to avoid Jason Tatum because he's injured and I think he may be out for the biggest part of the season. Well, Kyle Anthony Towns is good. I'm sure he's just being rested. This will just show you. Oh, he actually has an injury, a quadriceps. Quadriceps. Yeah. Okay, that is an avoid because you can never be too sure. Then of course the ones that have red markers, you have to stay away from those. Okay, then after that, of course, you get to see the leagues that you're participating in. Unfortunately, this doesn't auto renew from previous seasons because there are some leagues that I was in, but I tried to auto renew and I actually failed. Okay, then this is the schedule. This actually breaks down game week per day, so you're able to see every game week day. So you see, like I was telling you, every game week day there are fixtures that will be happening. Then, of course, as the season goes on, you will also be able to see the statistics as the players are going and the points that they are making. This, of course, is the news. Usually, it is because these are the highlights of the injuries and the updates and the stats and the suspensions and all that. Okay, so we are now going to go to the rules. Now, rules, of course, it's five. You have five backcourt players. These are the smalls, if I may say, the point guards, the forward, the point guards and the shooting guards. Then, of course, the front court. These are the big men, the centers, the forwards, and the shooting forwards. Yes. Then, of course, you always have a salary cap of 100 million. So you have to pick players based on that. This is the limit that you have. Then you can select up to two players per team. You can't go beyond that. Those are the initial roster rules. Then, when you're managing your team, of course, depending on the players that are playing, you can either play two backcourt players and three front court players, or three backcourt players and two front court players. So when I said that I was going big at the back, this is the formation that I'm actually looking to play with two backcourt players and three front court players. This is the main um, um, formation that I'm going to be using on my this season because I have Porzingis, I have Nikola Jokic, and of course, forgetting my third big. Sorry about that. My third big, if I go back to my lineup, yes, Anthony Davis. Actually, I also wanted to bring the rookie, the Dallas rookie, um, but I got scared, cold feet. I got cold feet. Cooper Flag, I'm not so sure, but ideally he would be very, very good to bring. His numbers are good and promising, but I'm afraid, I'm afraid. So I'm just going to give it some time so that I watch him, see how he goes, see how he fares, and then maybe I can incorporate him in. I'll show you how. Then of course the transactions, these are the transfers. So every week you get 2 free transfers per what? Per game week. So you have to choose the way you use the free transfers. There are 2. Then again, of course, you take hits. There's a deduction that is taken off you should you use more than 2, the 2 that are allotted. And another thing, you cannot transfer the 2 transfers to the next game week. So that's unfortunate. I hope they should. Anyway, I'm hoping at least if it can accumulate to like 6 or maybe 4, that would also help. So that if you save, let's say, 2 game weeks, you have 4 transfers in the 3rd game week. It would make it a bit more interesting. Then of course there's a wild card. There are chips. I'm actually going to look at this later. It's actually here. Let's move to the chips. So the chips, you have 3 chips basically. Of course, you have the captain. This is once every game week, and once you choose a player, you captain a player, and they don't play, you lose um, that chip, because the captaincy means they multiply the score of your captain on that game day times 2, so they double their score on that game day. Then the All Star, this is my favorite. Unlimited everything. Everything is unlimited. The transactions are unlimited. The budget is unlimited, but it's for a single game day. So you have to be strategic. Usually you have to pick the packed game days. The packed game days are the ones that have most players available to you. And of course, at the next deadline, the squad returns to the previous game week, game day squad. Then there's a wild card. Now the wild card is staggered. It's you get 4 wild cards. Looking at the wild cards, let me just highlight for you. This is it. The first wild card will be available on game from 0, let's say today, until game week 6, day 5. Then the second wild card will be available from game week 6, day 6, until game week 17. So you get 3. Sorry, I said 4, but there are 3 actually. Yes, then the final one until the end of the season will start from game week 17. But I'll take you through all that as we go each day. And of course, I said the deadline is just 30 minutes to the first tip off of the first game on every game day. So tonight it will be at 2 p.m. Right before the first game, which will be the Houston Rockets taking on the defending champions, Oklahoma Thunders. Yeah, so those are the deadlines. It's pretty much every game day. Now scoring, this is now what you want to pay attention to. So that's why I said I went. Okay, let's look at it. So during the season, the NBA fantasy players will be allocated points based on their performance in the league. So how they score basically, for each point that is scored by a player, that is a single point. So let's say Luca scores 30 points on a specific game night or a game day. So those are 30 points. So for each basket he makes, okay, for each point he makes, that's an extra point for you that is earned in the league. Then for each rebound, I think this is more like to even out. Rebounds are mainly for the bigs. These are the forward, the back, the front court. Then of course the points are usually made by more or less anyway. I don't know. Both of them do, but the rebounds will more slanted towards the front court players, whereas the points are also more slanted towards the backcourt players. So that's a 1-1 for each. So for each rebound, let's say Nikola Jokic fetches, let's say 10 rebounds. Those are 10 points he has scored. Then for assists, now assists now have a multiplier. So let's say Nikola Jokic scores, makes let's say 7 assists. So you get 7 times 2, that's 14 assists. That's 14 points. Then 14 points will be added to the number of points that he has scored. Then that's the sum of the total points that he makes on a specific game day. Then for blocks, now these are the crucial ones. This is why I wanted Wemby. Wemby is actually a block magnet, same as Giannis Antetokounmpo, but they are big. They are very very expensive players. I'm going to show you. We shall look at some of their prices. They are really really expensive, so that's why you have to pick a few. So since I have Nikola Jokic and again Luka, they have taken a big chunk of my budget, so I could not get Wembenyama, but he's actually a target. Somewhere in the season, we shall see how to fit him in. So for blocks, it's a triple multiplier. That's times 3. So the number of blocks they make, let's say he makes 3 blocks in a game times 3, that's 9. See how this actually really, really is exponential. That's why I went big at the back. That's why I went big at the front. My front court is actually big guys. I have Porzingis, Nikola Jokic is not a block magnet, but I'm sure assists he will rack those up. Then also Anthony Davis. Now steals, Jason Daniels was so good last season, but his price has gone up and it's crazy. I couldn't get him in this time round. He was too expensive. But we shall see as the season goes on. Maybe I can fit him at some point. Him in at some point. Then of course finally, this is the league types. These are the leagues that I was trying to join, but unfortunately I am not. So I'm going to create a league so that I share it on the channel so that we can all play and join the league. I'll share the details in the description, and you can always join that. Alright, so let's finally now look at the prices of the players, and then we can call it a day and make sure that we are good to go. So when we look at the players, the most expensive players, the most expensive player is Nikola Jokic. This is the front court, of course, remember the bigs. And the back court is Shea Gilgis Alexander Hart. Shea Gilgis Alexander Hart. Okay, let me just try to zoom in for you guys. Okay, that's better off. Okay, so Giannis Antetokounmpo is there, 18 million. I'm using million, yeah, I'm assuming that's million because we get 100 million. Then Wemby, Sabonis, but most of these are actually injured. Now I wanted to show you this kid, some of the, look at Steph Curry is actually kicking off. He was on feet in the preseason. He was actually playing very, very well. He's actually a good person to build your team around. This season they might be really, really good. Okay, so let's see. Derek White is actually another good one, but the prices are too steep. If you can't afford Luka, I'd advise you get Austin Reeves. He's actually also very good. Jason Daniels. This man was so good last season that I just want to show you some of his stats. If you to see the steals that he had, look at this. There is no one that averaged that much. This man is so good. Actually, I may end up getting him even before the deadline tonight. But if you want a player that will get you steals, not so many points, but the steals, and remember it's a triple multiplier. Steals and blocks are triple multipliers. He scored 229. 229. Now let's compare that. Okay, let me look at Derek White. Derek White was also a good steals, but you see, Derek White was good, but the other man was far, miles and miles away. Let's see. No one comes close to Jason Daniels. Jason Daniels. Actually, on that note, I think I might consider bringing him into the team. Let me see who else had steals. Steal magnates. I remember Caruso, but Caruso didn't score so well. And Brand is also good. He was good also. He had some good steals. Then of course Simmons. Simmons is going to be playing well. He's also another player that you should target because we know that their main player is actually out for a long period of time. So Cooper Flag, there he is. Cooper Flag. He has no details because this is going to be his first season. Okay, my machine is freezing. We hope it doesn't crash. But yeah, okay. Let me sign out before this crashes. But it's been a good. We shall come back once the season kicks off. And just give me a few seconds right here. Let me just edit a few things. Let's take it back to where it is supposed to be. Okay, so the season is just a few minutes away. This is the lineup that I'm going with tonight. I'm just going to have Connect Luca. Yes, it's going to be mainly heavy. Okay, I need to also bring in Gary Payton because he's playing. I can maybe bench. Yeah, so I have Gary Payton, Luca, and Connect. They are the ones that are playing tonight. And if you want to play I'll save the team right there. If you want to play the captain, you click this play and then you pick the captain. But I'm not going to play the captain. I'm planning to play the captain on Nikola Jokic, most preferably against Golden State Warriors. Yes. All right. So thank you very much. The season is underway. I will create the league and then I will share it so that we can all join and then play together this season. Thank you very much. I am going to sign out. Peace out.